Plato student, Aristotle kind of tried to account for development. You know, he was very close to his father, who was a doctor, and he used a lot of biological metaphors. Um, so yeah, I guess Aristotle came up with the idea of character, which is not your personality, which is more like sort of what you're sort of born with. But your character is something that you can refine with cultivation, and it's a consequence of your experiences and how you have applied yourself in action and decision. So it's sort of formed over your life. And Aristotle had this idea called the golden mean. And it's sort of like using your sort of intuition and your rationality to kind of find the sweet spot when you're developing your virtues and to not be like, for instance, if you're trying to develop your courage, you're trying to know when when are you being courageous and when or how much action might be actually foolhardiness.
Hmm.
Or, on the other hand, when you're being cowardly or timid or something like that. So you're trying to, the virtues are this sweet spot between like too much and too little.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that to me is very I would come at that concept from the Middle Path. The Buddha was always
Right. Yeah.
a lot of his teachings were about like not this and not that. And when I'm working with people or when I'm talking with people, I often use the idea of like you can fall off a horse on either side. If
Yeah.
you're right, you got to ride the horse, but like if you fall to the left, you fall off, and you lean too far to the right, you fall off. If you're too much of a coward, you're not being courageous, and if you're too foolhardy, you're not being courageous, and there being some sort of a maybe I don't know, all good things requiring that kind of balance. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know. What do you think?
No, I think I would think so. Yeah. Uh, and yeah, in terms of developing yourself over time so that you can know better how to be. That seems like a very good thing. So you talked about the middle path, like how do you develop yourself? I know with like Buddhism, you have like mindfulness, and that seems very mindfulness training, not just mindfulness. And that seems to me like a very, very good way of starting to develop, like, because you have to have a sense of what to do, right? It's not obvious. Things are really, really complex in life, right? Many, many moving parts. And ideally, you're kind of knowing what to do virtuously in the moment and not later on when you can't do anything about it, right? And
Yeah.
isn't mindfulness partially a way to sort of start to know so that you kind of maybe can more sense like what's going on, including what's going on with yourself, right? Because maybe sometimes your own psychology is getting in the way of your being able to somewhat accurately assess the situation that you're in.